The Carol 2.0 bike is designed around using AI personalized resistance to deliver the shortest, most effective workouts possible. The standard session taking less than 10 minutes from the beginning of the warm-up to the end of the cooldown. Of course, there are other types of workouts to choose from and available integrations with third-party apps like Peloton, Zwift, and Netflix. But before we get into all that, we gotta talk about the design of the Carol 2.0 bike, because this is actually one of the better looking indoor bikes I've seen. I think it looks great with the weighted flywheel sitting on that back end of the bike. The included pedals here are dual-sided with both a toe cage and speed clips, so you can choose whether or not you'd like to wear cycling shoes. And like most indoor bikes, there is a 3-way adjustment system, which works pretty smoothly, allowing you to adjust the seat up and down, forward and back, in addition to being able to raise and lower the handlebars. Attached on the front of the Carol 2.0 is an 11-inch tablet, which is a lot smaller than you'll typically see. But since the Carol bike is made for shorter, more intense sessions, the tablet size wasn't a huge deal for me. It was only really during the 30+ minute rides when using other apps like Peloton or Netflix where I would have liked to have a bigger screen. So riding the Carol 2.0 feels smooth, and since it utilizes digitally controlled magnetic resistance, it makes very little noise. But the most impressive thing about Carol for me is how smooth it continues to feel as it quickly ramps up and takes the resistance to really high levels. As with some other bikes, that high resistance can make it feel a bit clunky, but they did a great job making it feel really smooth here. Additionally, the bike is 120 pounds, which helps keep it very stable, which is important as many of the rides ask you to go at your max possible power. So even when going at an all-out effort, the Carol bike, of course, is going to be the tiniest bit shaky, but really not too bad. That said, the one thing about Carol that doesn't feel great is when trying to ride out of the saddle, meaning your butt is off of the seat. The bike doesn't feel like it was designed for this at all, and it's pretty much impossible to actually do this without the pedaling becoming extremely wonky. So plan on making sure that you stay on your seat the entire time while using it. Now, Carol utilizes AI with many of the workouts to learn and adjust to you based on your previous outputs. As you are able to demonstrate higher levels of power output, so too will the Carol bike ramp up the resistance for higher intensity intervals to allow for a progressive training model. The primary training format that Carol is centered around is what is referred to as reduced exertion high intensity interval training, or REHIT. The idea, shown to work by a well put together study utilizing the Carol bike, is that you can get a lot of the same benefits from doing 2 short all-out efforts within 10 minutes as you can from moderately intense sessions spanning 30 minutes or more. The primary workouts for REHIT being a 2 to 3 minute warm-up, followed by a 20-second all-out sprint, then another 3-minute recovery, then one more 20-second all-out sprint, finally followed by a 2 to 3 minute easy cooldown. Now, Carol actually has 2 other variations of this, one being with 10-second intervals and the other being with 15-second intervals. And I actually personally chose to stick with the 15-second intervals rather than the 20-second intervals myself. The reason being that as someone who is more explosive than enduring, I have a background in Olympic lifting and 100-meter sprints. So when I do that 20-second all-out interval, I can dig really hard into that lactate and end up feeling really, really terrible for a long, long time if I really choose to dig in that time frame. In fact, the one time I did do the 20-second interval on Carol, I ended up having to puke several minutes after that sprint was over. Now, most people are going to be just fine with those 20 seconds, so I wouldn't worry about this. And if you are somebody like me, then you'll probably just want to choose the 15-second interval version and you'll be just fine and get the same benefit. And because you can get really similar health benefits this way compared to moderately intense longer sessions, that means if you are somebody who is really tight on time, or if you want to be able to squeeze in a quick workout during a work break without having to get sweaty, then a bike like the Carol 2.0 could be a fantastic choice. And while studies suggest that you can get similar benefits from doing 3 days of REHIT training as you would from 4 to 5 longer workouts at moderate intensity, you'll still be missing out on some of the benefits that you can get only by mixing in longer, lower intensity sessions, or as some people refer to as zone 2 training. But luckily you can do do more on Carol than just those re-hit protocols. There are actually a series of quote fat burn workouts, which are longer sessions focused on 30 to 60 rounds of 8 seconds of high intensity and 12 seconds of recovery. There are also various fitness tests like ramp and FTP tests for those who want to focus on power zone training. And there are several other custom and free rides to choose from here as well. And unlike the re-hit workouts where resistance is controlled solely by the Carol bike, other types of workouts allow you to adjust the resistance on the screen or even set it to automatically adjust the resistance to maintain a certain power output or power zone that you want to maintain. And this is pretty nice. For example, if I want to maintain a specific power zone, I can just select that and Carol will adjust the resistance to ensure that I stay in that zone. So if my cadence slows down, the resistance will automatically ramp up. Or if I speed my cadence up, the resistance will start to go down to keep me in my selected zone. And while all this is great, it is the integrated third-party support that I actually like the most here. You can adjust and track your metrics on Carol while taking classes on Peloton, on Zwift, or even just watching shows on Netflix. And it is the ease in which this all works that really makes it stand out to me compared to pretty much any other option that I've seen. You can also have that resistance auto-adjust to keep you at a certain wattage while in these third-party apps, though unfortunately as of right now, you can't choose to keep your resistance within a power zone like you can in the custom training on the Carol programs, which is a shame because combining those re-hit sessions with longer power zone sessions on Peloton is like the ultimate best mix. And while it still works great, it would be just a bit better if you had the same capabilities here that are available in those free ride modes. Even still, the fact that you can ride while utilizing these other apps is a pretty big deal, especially if you don't want to be locked into just one program and you want to have that flexibility to be able to switch things up and go from one program to the other as you please. Now, if this all sounds great, it does come at a cost. The Carol 2.0 bike itself is one of the most expensive indoor bikes you can buy at a current $2,595. And there is also a membership, which to be fair is cheaper than most at only $15 per month. Now, this membership provides the 18 available workouts, AI optimized resistance for that re-hit training, and metric tracking. What I think is also pretty nice here with Carol is that even if you don't want to keep that Carol subscription, you still get access to 6 of these 18 workouts, though they won't be automatically optimized by your performance. And you can still access all of those integrations with the various third-party apps like Zwift, Peloton, Netflix, and others, which is far more than almost any other bike offers without a subscription directly tied to it. So overall, the Carol 2.0 is a fantastic bike. It's great for those who want to get the best results possible in the shortest amount of time. And it's also one of the best bikes for those who don't want to be locked into a single program, since you can integrate into a variety of third-party apps. And while the attached tablet is small and the price is very high, Carol offers a whole lot of value that you just cannot find anywhere else. And as long as you don't mind not being able to ride out of the saddle, Carol is one of the best options available for an indoor bike. Now, for those of you who made it all the way to the end of this review, I do really appreciate it. This is Colin Jenkins with Connect the Watts, and I'll see you next time.